Alright guys, I'm done pumping and I've moved so we don't have that light in the back or the window in the background, but I am on my bed, so ignore the mess. This is postpartum week 1 update, and I'm just going to try to get through it as fast as possible so I can get on to the next one, which is sort of the big one. So I kind of told you what happened the first day, nothing really exciting. The second day they left. They left in the morning. The baby only had to stay 24 hours because he was just doing so good. They were both sort of, it was so funny in a way, funny in a way, sad in another way I guess, that they were just so shocked that they got to take him home. Their daughter, who's Cody's age, was in the NICU for like 10 weeks, and even the surprise baby, who was born at 36 weeks, was in the nursery for 3 days and had like a feeding tube for a little bit. And so it was just, they both were like kind of amazed that they got to just take the baby home and they didn't have to leave him in the nursery, and they had him pretty much the whole time except for a couple times when they needed to go like do something. So meaning the hospital had to do something with the baby, not they had to, yeah, anyways. So this time, last time I really wasn't concerned if Cody saw the twins or not because he didn't really get it. He was not quite 2 yet, and he knew that there's babies in my belly, kind of, but then there were no more babies in my belly and he didn't ask about them anymore. He never said anything. He asked Glenn one time if there were babies in his belly because Glenn had a little bit of a dinner baby, and that was pretty much it. And so I just didn't feel like he needed some sort of explanation or closure or anything. This time he's older, and while I still don't, obviously he doesn't really get the whole thing, he knows that the baby, that Charlie was, he knew the IM mostly. He knew IF, but he knew IM by name, and so he would ask, I told him that it was her baby, and he would come up and say, this is, you know, her baby, and I'd say yes, and I would say it's not ours, we don't get to keep it. I was like, I'm growing the baby because I just said that her belly was broken. I just didn't know how to explain it, and I didn't even ever try to explain that she was actually pregnant again because I just thought that might blow his mind. I have a washcloth, so if you see me like wiping down myself, it's because it is freaking hot in here. Our new place doesn't have an air conditioning unit, but we have one on the way. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, so just in time because we're starting to get into the 90s. The way we're set up in here, it's doesn't get to 90 inside or anything, but because there's like brick and it kind of keeps it a little bit cooler, but it's still hot, and I have like post-baby hormones and it's ridiculous. So if you see me like wiping down myself and drinking lots of water, that's why. Seriously. Anyways, so I asked if I could bring him into their room and show him the baby. I was like, don't worry, I won't let him touch him because he's a gross little 3-year-old, you know, digs in dirt and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't really see the need that he needed to like hold him or anything, you know. So and then also I brought Glenn. Glenn never actually saw the twins in person. It just, when they would come visit me, he was like not there. Because he was running back and forth with Cody, and then they left before Glenn got there to take me home because we left the same day. And so he never saw them in person. He saw lots of pictures, but he never saw them in person, and he told me later that it felt kind of weird that, you know, like he didn't want to hold them or anything like that, but he just said it sort of felt like it didn't really, like, there wasn't like a closure, I guess, for it. Like he didn't get to see this super cool thing, like the product of what we did, you know. And so I just asked if we could all come by, and they were really great. They let us, and they actually asked if I wanted to hold the baby again, and I was like, no, I'm good. And we took some pictures, and we just chatted for a while, and yeah, and then we went back to our room, and I ate lunch, and Cody helped me, and I didn't actually see them leave. I think they left like a half hour or so after we saw them. And then later that day, she sent me a picture. It was the best picture ever. It made everything so worth it. It had the older sister wearing a big sis shirt, and there was this cute little twin chair thing that the babies were sitting in, and it was just really great. Funny side note, I didn't realize this until they told me, like, when they were like leaving. Charlie is the baby of the family. He was born last. He was born like 3 weeks after. Hi, buddy. Hi. He was born. Cody's gonna join me. He was born like 3 weeks after surprise baby. 4 weeks. 4 weeks after surprise baby. And he was born 4 weeks after surprise baby, but his embryo was actually created and frozen before they conceived their first baby. And so he's kind of the oldest, and he's also the youngest, and so it's kind of, yeah, you can say hi, buddy. So it's kind of interesting. And then also, she was born and she weighed 6 pounds 2 ounces. And she lost a little bit of weight and then gained some, but even then was still, at the time at Charlie's birth, she was like still like 6.5 pounds or something like that. And so he was 2 pounds heavier than his sister, who was a month older than him at birth. So the picture is really funny because he's actually bigger than Madison, which is the surprise baby. So Charlie and Madison. Anyways, so I actually wanted to leave that day, but they wanted me to wait one more day, and I got my catheter out that day, and I started walking more. Still a little tender. Finally got a shower, which was nice. And it was just basic after baby stuff that was happening, really. I didn't have very much bleeding. It was just sort of on par for my other deliveries. I was able to go home with just a prescription of ibuprofen. I didn't need any like heavier drugs. And like my milk came in the day I went home, which was Sunday. So I had the baby on Friday. I left Sunday morning. My milk came in, and my milk came in great. I think I actually have like I have like a milk tracker app on my phone. So yeah, I had him on the 29th, and then the 31st, my milk first started coming in, and I only have like 5 ounces recorded. I think I had a little bit more than that because I dumped for like 2 pumps in the hospital because I just didn't want to like mess with trying to get it home. So I think I made about like 8 ounces that day, and then June 1st, which was 4 days postpartum, no, June 1st was 3 days postpartum, I was up to 21 ounces, and then the 2nd I was 30, the 3rd was 33, the 4th was 38, the 5th was 39. So my milk came in good, and it came in fast, and I was already up to like 40 ounces a day by the end of the week. Really, there's just like not a lot to say for the first week. Let's see, Sunday was 3 days, Sunday was, oh my gosh, Sunday was 2 days, so Monday, 3, 4, so 5 days postpartum. I had some random bleeding. This is a Wednesday, and it was I might have this a little bit backwards because it's starting to get a little fuzzy, but I had a little bit of bleeding, and it was weird. I would just like gush, and there would be, I'm sorry for the details, but I would pass like a clot, and then I would gush blood for a little bit, and then it would stop. And I did that 3 times on Wednesday, and the 3rd time I finally was like, WTF. And so I messaged my, not messaged, I called my doctor. I told him what was happening. Well, I told the medical assistant who told the doctor, because he was with patients, what was happening, and they told me that it sounded fairly normal, and that it would be really rare if anything would have been left inside or because of the C-section. With a vaginal delivery, it's not unheard of to have like placenta left behind, that sort of thing, but he said it'd be really rare if that was it. But if I was concerned, he could give me a prescription to Cytotec, which, if you guys have ever taken that, they use that to induce you, and they'll also use that to help you flush out a miscarriage if that's happened. And so they prescribed, or they gave me that, and they told me to take that if it got any worse, as far as like if the bleeding was getting worse, then I needed, and I thought there was something wrong, to take that. And they also warned me, which is weird because, like, I don't know, sort of contradictory, but they also told me that that could make me bleed heavier because it's like expelling everything, you know. And then they said if I started getting lightheaded or fainting to go to the hospital. And so we went and we picked up that, but by the time we picked it up, I was no longer bleeding, and I didn't bleed at all the rest of the day, rest of Thursday, and Friday, let's see, and Thursday marked technically 1 week, and so Friday would start the 2nd week. So on Friday, I will pick up the next video on Friday and kind of go from there. But really the first week was sort of unremarkable, and I was just pumping and healing, and by Friday by Thursday I had Jesus. By Thursday I was walking fairly well, like a little tender still, obviously, and like but I was moving in bed better, and I didn't need like help sitting up and that kind of thing. So anyways, yep, look for my next video, and it's gonna be a long one, so bring rations. Bye.